Hey everybody, Regina Andler here, and it is time for Coffee with Regina. And today I have my very special guest, Jillian Schleger.
You got
Did
it.
I pronounce that right, Jillian?
You did, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being with me today. And so I want to tell you a little bit about Jillian before we get started here. And Jillian, I think, in my own personal opinion, the coolest thing about her is that she's an intuitive healer. And she has this program where this I can't even explain you right now. We're going to have to explain you as we go along. She can eliminate trauma and create abundant, joyous realities in people's lives. She helps people find, how to get through trauma and create that abundant, joyous life. And she does that through her intuitive healing. She's got a program that we're going to talk about. She's worked for over 30 years as a healer and has over 20 years of teaching experience. And she has this method that she created on dissolving painful emotional wounds. And I don't know about you, but I think everybody at some point in their life has some kind of emotional wound that they need to, you know, recover from. Some people hold on to them so tight. And so she teaches this method now, and she's got books, and she's got her self-published books, she's got toolkits, and she's got a soon to be released book that's going to be with the Hay House family. So if you know the Hay House family, I'm actually a member over there. So I know the Hay House family. So congratulations on that, and welcome, Jillian.
Thank you so much. That was such a beautiful intro. I'm really excited to talk to you today.
Yeah, I am so excited to talk to you too, because there's just so much great information that um, that we could talk about. I mean, when it comes to that emotional, those painful emotional traumas that happen in your life, I mean, all of us have them at some point. And I don't think this is my personal opinion again, because everybody thinks differently. I just personally don't think that when you hold on to that emotional trauma, it creates those limiting beliefs, and it keeps you stuck in like a not so good energy. So when you think about that, I mean, what are your thoughts about, does everybody have this kind of stuff? And if so, where do they start? How do they even get to a point where they say, hey, I need to do something about this?
Yeah, if they want it, you have to want to. I think there's a lot of attachment to our trauma, to our triggers, to which cause behaviors. And you hear language like, "Oh, you know me, I always think the worst." Well, do you want to, or do you want something different?
I just love what you just said. I just wrote down attachment. Um, isn't it so true how something happens and we get attached to the drama that's associated with it? And for whatever reason, we consciously choose to live in that drama instead of saying, what am I doing? I don't want this.
I can choose something different. Yeah.
And so when you said about you have to want to change, the the thought that came to my mind is, how do you get to that point where you're done living in the drama, you're done living in the stuff, and you say, you know what? I need to do something about this.
Well, I think the first question is, do I want to change? But the second question is, do I feel like I have the capacity to choose something different?
Mm. And I believe that choice is your power. So
Yeah.
all of us have that power to make that choice. So you can choose to live in your drama, or you can choose to do something about it, right?
Hmm. Hmm. And I call them stories. So oftentimes I'll be in session with my clients and they'll go down sort of this rabbit hole of story. And sometimes there's an energy behind it. There's an actual destination that they're going to, and we need to go through that process of, this happened and then this happened and then this happened and that's sitting in my body here, and then we can clear it. But oftentimes the rabbit hole doesn't go to any destination, and the story doesn't really have any hold on you as the person who's creating what you desire. And we can release it.
Yeah, I really love that idea that, it puts it in people's minds that, you don't have to live in this drama. You don't have to live in whatever's going on. You don't have to keep saying, "Oh, this is just me, and you know how I am." And, I always attract the wrong kind of guys. I always have to live paycheck to paycheck because that's just the way I am. It's we create these stories in our heads, or, it's I'm never going to feel better because this is just the way I am, or whatever it is. We create those stories for ourselves. And the coolest piece of knowledge that I think anybody can have is that, well, you created that story. Guess what? You can create a different story. You just have to decide not to live there anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's what you help people do. You help people
Yeah.
find their new story.
Yeah, and detach from the past story. And in the beginning, you said most people do have some sort of trauma. And I worked for Behavior Support Ontario, and we went into nursing homes or long-term care homes where we documented what was going on with residents who were having explosive behaviors. Oftentimes they were getting physical and they were having outbursts. And for the safety of everybody around them, we would go in and see what was going on. And I was working at that time as a personal support worker or nurse's aide. So I wasn't a nurse. I wasn't able to really do much, but I was there to document what was going on. And the scary thing that I documented was a lot, if not probably 8, if not 9 out of 10 of these cases, they were reacting to a trauma that had happened in their childhood.
Hmm.
And these are 80, 90-year-old people. And I thought, if I don't want to be, if I'm blessed to be able to get to my 80s and 90s or beyond, I don't want to be in my rocking chair reliving a trauma that happened when I was a young person. So what can we do? That was, I think, the start of my questioning. There's got to be a way to dissolve these traumas and the sticky attachments and entanglements with our trauma in all throughout our lives.
Yeah, and when you think about any kind of trauma, especially childhood trauma and that kind of thing, I don't think that we're consciously always aware of the effect that has on our lives. So for people who are like, I'll never be more successful than I am right now, or I can't do this or that or whatever, it's not that they can't. That's the story that they're creating, and it stems from something that happened. I call limiting beliefs manufactured false beliefs. So I call them MFBs. So manufactured false beliefs. It's these stories that we make up and these beliefs that we create and latch onto that really aren't true. And yet we have this attachment to them for some reason. And when you talk about the childhood ones, I don't know about you. I've learned from chatting with people. I chat with people about limiting beliefs as well, not to the level that you do. I also, for business purposes, for being successful as business, because it does hold you back. And one of the things that I've noticed a lot is that, one of the reasons that a lot of people don't want to let go and they're holding on so tight is because, like, it's like, well, it's an attachment. It's, well, this is what my parents told me. This is, I really highly respect, I love my parents. And if I stop believing this, even though I know it's not true for me anymore, I'm disrespecting my parents. And so
Yeah.
they just hold on to it, even though they know it's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find that when you're chatting with people?
Yeah, and it's twofold. So there is an attachment there, but there's also entanglement, which is really interesting because we're bioenergetic beings. We become entangled with so many things, people, places, and things. And we can look at that and we can ask whatever belief that we have. And I work with a lot of entrepreneurs as well. As an intuitive healer, I can tune into their business and their goals and their desires, and whatever stickiness or crunchiness is between them and that desire, we can work on eliminating. But if we have a desire of getting 5 new clients and that's difficult, there's a crunchiness between us and that goal, there usually is a belief there. And instead of looking for the block, what I say is, because that's so many people say, sit down and write out every single block that you have. Well, come back and see me in 15 years, right? Like we couldn't ever write down every single block that we have because they're unconscious blocks, most of them. So what I say is focus on your block or your goal, sorry, instead of the block.
Right.
So if we're wanting 5 new clients, we focus on those. I have 5 clients. I have 5 clients. I have 5 clients. And then the block that is in the way specifically to having those 5 clients will come to us. And it is usually an attachment or an entanglement. And this attachment could be an interpretation, like you said. If we saw something with our parents when we were young and we interpreted that a certain way, so we'd go right there in our subconscious, we'll file that away as a rule, as a program, as a belief. Or we saw something with our parents, heard something from our parents, and that energy, that emotion becomes entangled with our energy. We take that on. So if we can actually muscle test and we can tune into our body and muscle test whether or not that is a story that we've bought or some energy that we're entangled with.
So when you think about that entanglement, and I love the topic, everybody knows I love the topic of energy. So um, it's always fascinating to me because everything is energy, and I talk about it all the time. So I love it that we're bringing it to the energetic side of things, because that's all it really is it's just a shift of energy, right? And
Yeah.
when you think about that with those kind of beliefs, how do you begin to shift that energy? That energy is like it's holding tight to what it thinks it's supposed to believe, and yet there is a side of you that says, I don't want to be there anymore, and I'm having trouble releasing it. That's where people like you come in. So how do you go about shifting that energy to something more positive?
Well, I think asking the questions again of, do I want something different? Do I believe that I can change this? Do I believe I can create something different? And then a really powerful tool is one is going into gratitude. And it doesn't matter what you're grateful for. I think Dr. Joe Vitale in The Secret said he found a pencil and he was grateful for that pencil. And he feels that was the beginning of his life changing for the better. Sit in gratitude for, even 20 seconds will change your tone, your vibration, your resonance. And then just saying, I eject all outside energy. That is the entanglement. If we're entangled with our mother or father or a sibling, then we actually have to say, I eject my mother's energy from my body. Because our body is so used to the energy of our parents, our body feels that that's not outside energy. That's a home frequency. So our body allows that entanglement really, really easily and quickly. So if we say, I eject all outside energy, it'll keep on holding on to the mama energy, the papa energy, the brother or sister energy, even the best friend. Even if you are, Lord help you, if you've got a 9 to 5 and you're working with other people and there's a person that just irks you. There's that crunchiness. Oh, I got to work with that person today. And they always do this. And if you have that resentment with somebody, that's a strong emotion. That's a strong energy. So guess what? You're entangled with that person that you don't really like very much. So you actually have to say, I eject that person's energy. You have to say the name, because our body will entangle at a deeper level with the people that we're around, surrounded with the most.
Yeah, I really super love that. I eject the energy. So as soon as you started saying that, I was like, "Ooh, I have some energy I need to eject from, from a few different people." And that's a great way to think about it. And it's very, very super helpful for um, the quick release. I really like that. That it's like, it's almost as soon as you said it, and I started thinking about a person in my head that I said I need to eject some energy. uh, it's like I instantly was like, "Ooh, I already feel better about this."
Yeah,
So
it is instant. Yeah.
oh, it's great. Um, yeah. So when you think about, let's see, Katie B said, if I let go, attachment, there'll be a void.
Mm.
Hmm.
There, you think there would, but there isn't. Nature and the universe abhors a vacuum. So think of if you've ever been in your vehicle, your car, and hopefully you're the passenger and you put your hand out the window and you can feel the breeze, the wind coming onto your hand. You can feel the wind on the back of your hand as well. And try this the next time you're out. And again, it's safer if you're a passenger to do it because it's kind of mind-boggling because there's no empty space. Everything is full up with something. But was it Katie?
Katie B. Hmm.
Katie B? That's a really good question because what you want is that space that you've just allowed in your body and in your energy will fill up with something. So, how about filling it up with something that you want? So, fill it up with your own energy. And you can, again, muscle test how much energy is yours that's in your body and how much energy is from your mom, your dad, your sister, brother, nephew, uncle, neighbor's cousin's dog. Like we entangle with so much around us. It's quite astounding when we think about it.
Oh, I love that. And as Katie said, it's great insight. So I love this insight on how this all comes together. I do want to ask you about, because you talk about all of this entanglement. So you had mentioned, Joe Vitale and The Secret and stuff like that, and we talk about in The Secret and the law of attraction, and how bringing in the negative can actually create, illness and bad thing, dis-ease. You're not at ease. It creates dis-ease. Um, so I'm just thinking, when you create all this stuff, what else are you creating in your body?
So
And
much.
yeah,
Well, and our body is interesting because our body will tell us what's going on at all times. Yeah, that's a good
okay,
question, Katie. Mm.
yeah.
So that's what I was just going to lead into is you can actually muscle test your body to see what resonance is going on in your body and to see if there's available for anything to kind of grow underneath the surface. Yeah.
So I know what muscle testing is because I have it done with me all the time, and I've actually done it for people as well. Can you explain what muscle testing is and how it works?
Yeah. So muscle testing is applied kinesiology. Applied kinesiology was created by George Goodhart in 1962. He was a chiropractor and he was sitting with his clients working on their muscles, and he noticed that whenever he was talking to them and they said something positive or affirming, their muscles would be strong, and if they ever said anything negative, their muscles would be weak. It also happens if you lie, so the body can't lie. The body also never forgets. So this is why when something happened when you were 2 years old, it's still in your body until you decide and work with your body and say, hey, we can release this now. This is the work that I do. Muscle testing is so simple and easy to do. One of the stumbling blocks or sticky points that a lot of people struggle with is, and I was there, not being able to actually accurately muscle test themselves. And if we look back at Dr. David Hawkins' work, he wrote a book called Power versus Force. And in Power versus Force, he created and gave us this huge gift that is the map of consciousness. And the map of consciousness, Dr. Hawkins says, if we can test or if someone else can test for us what our baseline energetic resonance is, our baseline energetic resonance needs to be at 200 megahertz, which is, I use a pendulum chart. So 200 is right in the middle. We need to be at 200 or above to be able to accurately muscle test ourselves. The quickest way to do that is to sit in gratitude for 20 seconds.
Yeah.
And then you can get up above 200 megahertz. And that's at the resonance of courage. So if you want, you can just put your hand. I usually use my dominant hand. So I write with my right hand. So my right hand would go on my clavicle. And yeah, Katie, I have a free muscle testing 101 toolkit that I'll make sure that you guys get so that you can have that for free, because everybody should know how to muscle test your body, and you can do it with your clients as well. So if you want, just right now, trying just to put your dominant hand on your clavicle, your whole hand is flat, and you're going to raise your index finger up above your body, keeping that index finger strong as you can. Your other hand is going to come up and try to test how strong that can stay up high. And it'll bounce a little bit, but it's usually pretty strong. And then you just want to ask, that's your baseline test. Then you want to ask, hey, body, what does yes feel like? So you're thinking yes, and you're testing, you're pushing down again. Yes, 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 you're pushing down. And then you say, body, show me what no feels like. And you think no, and push down on your finger. Usually that finger will go directly to your skin because your body can't lie.
I absolutely love that. And I've done muscle testing for years, and it's fascinating that it's the energy in your body. So the muscle testing is really, it's the test of the energy in your body. And I use Dr. David Hawkins' the map of consciousness, and a bunch of the trainings that I've done in the past too. And I love that because it gives you that visual of where your energy needs to be so that you can be at that, that the positive side versus going into that negative. And, even that self muscle testing, you can go in and find out, well, where am I right now? Even if I don't have somebody like you, Jillian, to stand in front of me. And, my chiropractor, he holds the arm out and does the muscle testing like that. So if you don't have somebody who's going to muscle test for you, you can check yourself and just do a check-in. Where am I with this? If you're having any weird things going on, you're in business and you're like, I can't find clients, and it's not working with me. You can start asking yourself questions and test yourself to find out, why is this happening? And then you have the conscious choice to shift.
Yeah.
Into
and I would
something
suggest,
better.
so if you go to your desire, so if it's the clients, I want 1 client, I want 5 clients, I want 10 clients. So be very specific about what you want, and then sit down, sit in gratitude, and sit in the energy of, I now have 5 clients. And it may seem funny at first, because if you don't have 5 clients, then you feel like you're lying to yourself. But tell your body, hey, we're just checking the vibration of this. Okay, so let's go behind the curtain, check in with the Wizard of Oz here, and really see what's going on behind the scenes. So if we're focusing on, I have 5 clients, I have 5 clients, I have 5 clients, I have 5 clients, and then we're sitting in that energy, there will be, and you can ask your body, if it doesn't come up, you can ask your body, show me an image of what is in the way of me having this. Is
That
this
is
my
powerful.
choice? Is this my choice? Do I feel like, one of the biggest stumbling blocks that I find people have is they feel like they're waiting for something outside of them to give them what they want. That's kind of an employee mindset. And if you are running your own business, if you are your own boss, you're the CEO, you're the boss. So we have to get out of that employee mindset and stop asking for something outside of us to give us our desire. And I created this meme, oh gosh, like a year and a half ago. It was just a picture of a guy standing on a truck looking out to the universe. And I put like a little speech bubble. And the guy's like, why aren't you giving me what I want to the universe? And the universe says, what do you want? You have to tell me.
You haven't asked.
Yep.
Isn't that that joke that goes around about the lottery ticket? You know, I keep asking God and praying that I'm going to win the lottery. I'm going to win the lottery. And it's like, you know, God, why can't I win the lottery? You have to answer me. It's like, well, you got to buy a ticket.
Yeah, that was from Pray Love. Elizabeth Gilbert wrote that book. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, it's a great it's a great thought that you have that power within you to shift whatever it is that you need to shift. So no matter what is going on with your life, your business, anything inside of you, you have the power to create everything that you want.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And let's
Katie
see.
said, um, show me who or what this thought originated from because it's not mine. I would even go a step beyond that. And instead of wanting to know who it came from, just eject it altogether. I get to choose something else. And one of my favorite authors is William Walker Atkinson. And I have written on my wall, it's chalkboard paint on my wall because I like writing on my walls for some reason. But one of his quotes was, I'm asserting the mastery of my real self. And
Hmm.
that is, eject all outside energy, eject anything that's not, and just say, our brain is a computer, right? So just say to our computer, say to our brain, hey, that's not working for me anymore. I'm asserting the mastery of my real self. I'm choosing this instead. Show me evidence that that can come to me as quickly as possible.
You keep saying the word eject, and I just love it so much. And I'm getting this image of like somebody being ejected from a plane, you know, like, and I'm like, yeah, just eject and go someplace better. Yeah. We are running out of time quick. This has been such an awesome conversation. I do want to mention because I know you have your body alchemy program that you do, and that's a new program.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Tell us
Brand
about
new.
that because that's about
Mhm.
releasing stuff.
Yeah, it's releasing stuff and it's coming back to owning our power and potency as our each individual unique healer of our body. And I'm teaching everyone in this class is learning tools to heal triggers and trauma from the past. The tools that I have healed PTSD, agoraphobia, rape trauma, cancer, and I can these tools, implementing them allows us to heal burns, heal the pain from burns within 20 seconds. The pain from a burn is gone, eliminated, and the burn itself could be, depending on the burn and severity, but could be eliminated, no blister, no pain, no redness, in 20 minutes.
Wow, that's fascinating. Is that all through energy? Is that how that's fascinating to me? And in my brain, I'm going, how does that actually work?
Yeah, it's a combination of energy work and mindset work.
Mm.
So there's a process that I teach where we combine these two tools. One is an energetic tool, and the other one is a mindset shift. And it's the combination of them is very powerful.
Wow, that sounds extremely interesting. So we are just about out of time, and I know you have some stuff. You mentioned something that for you have a free tool for muscle testing you can
Yeah,
share.
the muscle testing 101 toolkit is a free resource that I'd love to share with you guys.
Where can they find that?
Yeah, it's I think it's just at jillianschleger.com. I'll have to double check my homepage, but it should be right on that homepage there. And I do have a direct link that I can share with you guys as well.
Make sure I spelt this right as I put it up on the screen. Did I spell
Yes,
your name right?
you got it. You're good.
And we'll make sure that that's underneath every place where this is being aired right now. So
Great.
we'll make sure that everybody has the link there. And then if people are interested in checking out the Body Alchemy program, is that also on your website?
It's not yet because it is brand spanking new. But if anybody can reach out to me on Facebook, and you can just say, I heard of you through Regina, and I'd love information about the body alchemy, or just message me and say, hey, body alchemy, what is that sort of stuff? And we can have a conversation about that.
Oh, this is awesome. So I don't see any additional questions out here in the chat right now. So if you're interested in learning more about what Jillian has, because as a intuitive healer and so good at what she does with all of this muscle testing, and I have this other link here. Let me just copy this. It's like walking and chewing gum at the same time. I don't know. I just can't do it. This one brings them to
the direct page of the muscle testing toolkit.
Okay, I'll make sure that is out underneath the chat. And oh, there's a great question. If we can answer that pretty quick, because we are out of time. However, if you can answer that really quick, that's a great question.
Yeah, please compare this with Reiki and NLP. So there are components. What I do is called kinetic divination. There are components of NLP in kinetic divination. And Reiki is essentially, you need to go to a Reiki healer to clear energetic blocks. What I do is I teach people how to take charge of their mind and their energetic bodies and their emotional states, so that they can create their life on their terms. They can create like they mean it, is my kind of tagline that I say all the time.
That is awesome. So hopefully, Katie, that helped answer your question. And yes, we are out of time. So Jillian, I want to thank you so much, because this has been, I could probably keep talking and going through more.
Yeah, we'll have to do a part 2.
Okay, so before we wrap up here, Katie said kinetic what?
Kinetic divination. So applied kinesiology is muscle testing. So that's where the kinetic comes from. And divination is trying to write this down. Yeah, and reach out anytime, Katie, if you have any questions. The muscle testing toolkit as well helps. But divination is actually finding wisdom within your body. And any kind of divination is actually muscle testing. So when you're doing tarot cards, if you're working with a pendulum, you're actually muscle testing your body.
Oh, fabulous. Thank you, Katie, for those questions. Those were great. And Katie B too. And for everybody else who is catching us live or on the replay, post questions. Jillian will be out here to help answer any questions that you might have, and connect with Jillian. We've got her actual website is right here, and I'll make sure all of these links are underneath the program here, so that you can connect up and get the toolkit there for the muscle testing. And thank you, Jillian, for your time and your insight today. It's been fabulous and so educational today.
Thank you so much. I'm glad that it was so much fun to be here with you talking about this stuff.
Awesome. And thank you, everybody, whether you join us live or on replay. If you join us on the replay, put in #replay in the comments, and we will see you next time on Coffee with Regina. Bye for now.